On or around October 30th, an Israeli tank destroyed a civilian vehicle at this location in Gaza. Couple of things before I get started. I can't show the full video on YouTube, but it is available on my Substack, so if you're a Substack subscriber, thank you. If you have $5 and want to become a paid member, you're going to get access to a lot of resources that you can use for classes or for hip pocket training, so I think it's a pretty darn good value. Also, if you want to know what all of these symbols mean, check out my article on Substack where I explain them. It's free, and there's a link to that below. Now, I don't do news. Go to Preston Stewart for that. He is great at it. I'm more interested in the intel and explanatory side of things. And there's a couple of these intel elements here. Now, I'm going to go over this engagement frame by frame by frame, but first I have to set the battle conditions. I originally believed that Israel would enter from Wadi al-Qataran and split the Gaza Strip essentially in half. And that's what they did, while also attacking in the north along this beach. Israel may have at least a battalion task force, or maybe 2 battalion task forces of Merkavas and Namers blocking the north and south approaches of Saladin Street, which is a major artery into and out of Gaza. I'd like to show you a video of the interaction and break it down. Again, the full video is on Substack.
روح الزلمة يعني شايفها صور 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 الله يستر روح الزلمة الله يستر هيا في دبابة في دبابة مشت
Now, I'm not sure who filmed this, but the text indicates photography, Yusuf al-Safi. So this may be the person who filmed it. This may be the person who was in the car taking still pictures. We don't know. An Israeli tank is here, and an Israeli D9 bulldozer is here. And the tank engaged that white vehicle as it was turning around. Now, I've been bit by Twitter compression before, so I can't tell if there are any shots coming from that vehicle, but for whatever reason, that Israeli tank decided to engage. So let's go over some of the reasons why this may have happened. At this point, the IDF, or Israeli Defense Forces, are probably terrified of VBIEDs, or Vehicle-Borne Improvised Explosive Devices. Now, if you served in Iraq or Afghanistan, you probably remember VBIED indicators. A heavy sagging vehicle that is rear-weighted, covered or obscured windows, large containers in the cargo area, license plates removed or altered, odors or chemicals, switches or antenna inside or placed on the vehicle, or cargo covered with a tarp or blanket that would be inconsistent with vehicle use. Now, this vehicle does look really low on its suspension, especially in the rear, meaning that this vehicle could be filled with explosives. I can't tell if the license plate was altered, but something like that would be used for a more secretive attack at something like a checkpoint. Like you're trying to fool license plate readers as you get closer and closer in line for a checkpoint to get close to the soldiers and detonate that VBIED. Palestinian civilian license plates are white, and this looks like the area of the car is black, but again, that could be Twitter compression. It could also be a shadow. Another indicator is filming. If you served in Iraq or Afghanistan, you know that if you saw a couple of dudes filming on a rooftop, that's an indicator that maybe you shouldn't go down that street. So the fact that the rear end of the car is low on its suspension, and the vehicle was being tailed and filmed by another vehicle might be a good indicator that whoever was filming this intended to capture the results of that mission. And whether they succeeded or failed in delivering the VBIED to its destination, Hamas still gets an information warfare win. If the vehicle blows up at its target, they get a video showing themselves resisting Israel. If the vehicle gets shot up and fails to reach its target, yes, they lose out on those IED explosives, and there is a dollar value to constructing an IED, but they still get Israel destroying a civilian car on video. So Hamas wins either way, and I can tell you right now that Israel is losing the information war. It is going to be almost impossible for Israel to define the narrative when Hamas can win an information victory whether they succeed in an attack or not. And this is really dangerous for Palestinian civilians because if Israel feels like it's going to lose the information war no matter what they do, it is really easy to err on the side of protecting your soldiers. In other words, Israelis could be like, well, we're going to lose the information war whether we do the right thing or not, so why not just shoot at anything that might be a VBIED? That way at least we have a chance of making it back out of this place alive. And that's bad news for any Palestinian civilians who are on the wrong side of that equation. And I guarantee you there are going to be some who are on the wrong side of that equation. It is possible that the tank crew with their optics and thermals might have seen something that we can't see in this video. And that is certainly possible, again, due to Twitter compression. A couple more things to glean from this video. Gaza was supposedly out of fuel, but there's obviously some gasoline available. There was gasoline for that white vehicle, and there was gasoline available for the people filming. Now, I don't know if out of fuel means out of diesel for generators, or if it means out of gasoline for cars, or maybe it means both. You also don't know if the people who were in those vehicles were running on fumes, or maybe they had some gas stored up in their tool shed. It's also possible that Israeli soldiers were told in their rules of engagement that Gaza is out of fuel, so any vehicle on the road, it must be Hamas controlled because they're the only ones with reserves of fuel. So this could be a case of Israel engaging that vehicle because from what they've been told, the only people on the road with fuel are by default Hamas. Now, we would have to get the Israeli rules of engagement, or ROE, to know for sure. It's certainly possible that these soldiers violated their ROE and they just engaged the vehicle without reason because they were scared. But again, we just don't know. If those tankers were following the ROE, the optics are not good. And this is just another example of Israel losing the information war. Look, believe it or not, I actually do not get paid by the CIA or by Israel or by anyone, and I don't take money from people, but I fund myself through Substack subscriptions, YouTube ads, and t-shirts. So if you want to buy a Live, Laugh, Launch Patriot Missile t-shirt, you can get one at bunkerbranding.com. It helps fund this kind of content. And thank you guys so much for watching.
In a world where fashion meets firepower, where style becomes strategy, it's time to gear up for the ultimate mission with Bunker Branding. Introducing the Rock Out With Your Chalk Out t-shirt, a tribute to the fearless air cavalry. Feel the adrenaline rush as you don the pride of the skies. For those of you who dare from the air, precision and power unite when you think outside the bomb. And don't miss our Live, Laugh, Launch t-shirts for Patriot and HIMARS, because sometimes defending freedom means bringing the thunder. Finally, for the true defender of the seas, we present Department of the Boat People. Sail with honor and show your allegiance to the world's mightiest maritime force. With these shirts, hoodies, and stickers, along with the tow missile, landmines, and drone warfare. These aren't just shirts, they're statements. They're your way of saying I stand for strength, unity, and style. Get yours at Bunker Branding today.